Today we are going to look at some more picture graphs. You'll notice in this picture graph, like yesterday, we have our title, we have our labels, our categories, and down here we have what we call our key. It tells us that each pencil stands for one student. So when I look up here, I know that this is one vote. When people were asked about their favorite subjects, and sometimes we call that a survey, when we go and ask people what their favorite is or what they like the most. So we collect our data, and remember we're using this frequency table over here. So when I collect my data, I write down all of my labels and my questions that I'm asking. I tally them as each person says that they like a certain subject. So if someone says they like math, I add one tally. Somebody else says they like reading, I add a tally. So here I had 3 people say they liked math, 3 people said they liked reading, and 2 people said their favorite was science. So I went back to my graph and I used a pencil to represent each of those people. And remember, what we like about graphs is that we can look at a graph and right away we can see, oh, I know that science was liked the least out of those subjects because I don't have as many pencils as I do for math and reading. You might be asked a question that says, which subjects were liked by the same number of people? And I hope in your head you were thinking, oh, that's math and reading because my pictures have the same amount in each of those rows. All right, let's take a look at another example. This is a picture graph of favorite colors. Again, we have our title, we have our labels, purple, blue, and green were the colors we asked about. And we know down here from our key that each crayon stands for one student. And I'd like to point out that in this picture and in the picture before, we use different colors for the crayons. So we can do that, or as we'll see in our next graph, sometimes the pictures that are represented are the same picture. So let's take a look at our frequency table. We have purple with 3 tally marks, blue with 1 tally mark, and green with 2 tally marks. And remember again, just by looking at that graph, if I asked you which color was liked the most, I bet you would tell me that it's purple because that has the most crayons. Now remember that sometimes the graphs go from side to side. We call those horizontal graphs. They go from side to side. I read it from left to right. But in this next graph, we also have examples that go up and down. We call them vertical graphs. And like I was saying, every one of these pictures is the same. I didn't use a chocolate ice cream cone or a vanilla ice cream cone. I guess that does look a little bit like vanilla, or a strawberry ice cream cone. So sometimes your pictures will all be the same. But again, I have my title, my labels, and my key. What I'd like you to notice over here in our frequency table is our tally marks. Remember we talked about when we are counting tally marks or marking them, we do 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th one, we draw a diagonal mark like this. So when I look at this, I can automatically go, oh, I know that means 5, and I can just count on 5, 6, 7. Same thing for strawberry. When I look at strawberry, I see those 4 marks and the diagonal mark. I go, oh, I already know that's 5, which as we move on, will make it a lot easier to count by 5s or to count a lot of data or data when we know what that symbol means. All right, so looking at our tally marks, we write in how many of each we have. And if we wanted to ask you some questions about this, you could easily answer by looking at the graph. So let me ask you, and you think about the answer, which of these flavors is liked the least? You probably said 3. because vanilla has 3 and it's my shortest column. If I said, which one of these flavors was liked the most? I bet you would say chocolate because that is my tallest column, and if I count them, I see that it has the most. One thing your teachers will probably do with you is teach you how to write the number above each of these ice cream cone columns so that you don't have to go back and count them each time you see them. You'll already remember they're there in case you don't see the frequency table. All right, thank you for joining me today. And now during your Zooms, you and your teachers will create some more picture graphs.